Hi, kindergarten. Today we're going to talk about some words and phrases that you're going to hear in your story this week. The story is called If You Could Go to Antarctica. It's going to be a really cool story with real pictures about the continent of Antarctica, where it's really cold and they have some exciting animals. So here's some of our amazing words. The first one is Antarctica. It's Earth's southernmost continent. And what is a continent? It's one of the largest pieces of land on Earth. If you look on the slide, you will see a map of Earth, and there's a red arrow pointing to Antarctica, which is at the bottom, the southernmost point of our planet, and it's blue because it's cold there. Another word you're going to hear is iceberg. They are big pieces of ice that break off from even larger ones. So there's a boat, and behind the boat is a big iceberg. Now this picture shows an iceberg, and then it shows how the iceberg actually goes underneath the water as well. There's some neat birds and animals and things that live in the water at Antarctica. One of them is penguins. They're flightless birds. Another one is seals. They're large animals that live in cold water areas. They live in the water because they like to swim and get their food there, but they also go on the land. And then, of course, we also have whales. They're large animals that live in the ocean, but they breathe air. Now, other words and phrases that you're going to hear in the story are rough, which means bumpy, not smooth when you touch it. And I have a picture of a tree with bark, because if you touch a tree, you'll notice that it's not smooth, it's not flat, it's kind of bumpy. And then also shiver. That means when a person or animal shakes when they're cold, scared, or excited. And when you get cold, I'm sure you kind of shiver. And if you're in Antarctica, you would, of course, shiver. You have to really bundle up. It's really cold. A couple other words are the word shore. That's the land along the side of the ocean or a large body of water. So if you've ever been to the beach and you've walked around on the sand where the waves crash, you're walking on the shore. And also the word chunks. So when I talk about icebergs and iceberg pieces falling off in chunks, they're talking about big pieces of something. And this is a picture of pineapple cut up into chunks. They're large pieces of that fruit. Now a phrase that you're going to hear is as they split. That means breaking apart and moving the pieces or things apart. I used a picture of marbles. If you drop marbles or balls, they're going to move apart from each other. So they're splitting apart. You're also going to hear the word zoom, which means to move quickly or fast. And I always think of a superhero, how they fly really fast in the air to save people. Another word that you're going to hear is oily. That means it has oil on it, it's smooth, it's slick. If you look at the fish in the picture, it's kind of shiny. You might feel oily. And you're going to hear the word lunging. That means making a fast move with your body. I use the picture of the whale here because in the story they're going to talk about whales lunging out of the water. When we think of lunging, you can think of maybe somebody grabbing something really fast. They're lunging towards it. They're moving fast trying to get an object. Acrobatic. That's when you twist your body in different ways. So there, of course, is pictures of some acrobats for us. And sprout. That means a new growth of a plant. So when they first pop up out of the ground, they might have a leaf or two on them. They're like little baby plants. And lastly, you're going to hear the phrase green mats of moss and grass. Now, they're not talking about a rug in your house or a bath mat. It means when it looks like there's soft little rugs or carpets of grass and plants called moss, which are short little green plants. So I found this picture of a forest, and there's moss. Could be grass in there too, but little moss patches growing on rocks. And it does look like little carpets that might be growing. So when you get to that part of the story and they say that phrase, try to keep that green picture in your mind, little tiny patches of moss growing on rocks and little patches of grass. Hopefully the pictures help and you enjoy your story this week and you learn a lot about Antarctica.